Hi, my name is Nicholas Parker, and today I will be talking to you about the Coca-Cola Company for our final capstone project. First, I will cover the external environment and the factors that influence this. Coca-Cola operates in the carbonated soft drink industry, which focuses on fizzy drinks, juices, waters, coffees, things like that. Their main competition is PepsiCo, and the third competitor is Dr. Pepper Snapple, but Coca-Cola and PepsiCo have had a prolific war over the years for this industry, and it has been dubbed the Cola Wars. When analyzing this industry further, it's important to take in consideration the Pestel analysis. Political factors include the relevant laws that are relevant to each country that Coca-Cola operates in. They change from country to country. Economic factors have been recently influenced by COVID because consumers have not been spending as much because many people are out of work. Social involve consumer tastes. Consumer tastes shape this entire industry, and without consumer taste, there really wouldn't be an industry in the first place. Technological factors consider manufacturing and distribution practices that help to bottle and ship out all of Coca-Cola's products. Sustainability has been a major topic in this industry because recently there's been a problem with overconsumption of water, and with legal ramifications, there must be compliance with laws. As I mentioned, in each country, there are different laws to follow, and Coca-Cola must understand and follow those laws. Driving forces within the industry, I'll begin with threat of new entrants. This one is unlikely because the industry is dominated by Pepsi and Coca-Cola. It's actually more likely that one of these new entrants will be bought out by one of these two companies rather than make an impact in the industry. Bargaining power of buyers is very high. As I also mentioned, consumer demands lead to all the purchase and sales of these products. However, the bargaining power of suppliers is weak. There are many suppliers that will supply Coca-Cola and Pepsi with sugar, water, the necessities that they need. The threat of substitute products is high. Coca-Cola, however, has a high brand value, and Pepsi is considered a substitute, but typically consumer tastes shape towards one drink or the other. And finally, rivalry amongst competitors. This is actually fueled by the previous four forces I mentioned, and there's a good rivalry between PepsiCo, Dr. Pepper Snapple, and Coca-Cola. Next, for the final slide of external environment, I will talk about industry attractiveness. This industry is not very attractive to new entrants. There are new entrants pretty frequently, but as I mentioned, they are typically bought out or do not make a major impact in the industry for long because of the pure domination that Coca-Cola, Pepsi, and Dr. Pepper Snapple do in this industry. Some critical success factors. There's different ones for Pepsi and Coke. Pepsi focuses on a more diversified product portfolio, so they make up more of their revenue off of snacks and other type items like that rather than solely beverages. However, Coca-Cola focuses all of their investments purely on beverages. This gives them a little bit of a competitive industry in the beverage industry. However, both these companies have substantial financial assets that allow them to buy out competitors and make investments into what they feel is best. And they also dominate market share of this industry. It's hard for any other competitor that enters to get shelf space or contracts with restaurants because Pepsi and Coke have pretty much already done all of that. Now moving on to internal environment, I will talk about Coca-Cola's value statement and its success. So Coca-Cola's vision statement or value statement is to refresh the world and make a difference. They are a total beverage company that is focused all on consumer tastes. And recently, consumer tastes have wanted reduced sugar, and Coca-Cola has been able to do this while increasing sales globally. As you can see, they've moved their unit case volume growth from 1.6% to 2.2%. And they've had sugar reduction across all drinks from 1.7% to 4% in 2018 and 2019. Coca-Cola always strives to do what is best for the stakeholders, and as I also mentioned, they are focusing much more on sustainability. Overconsumption of water has become a major issue in this industry, and it's becoming a problem. However, Coca-Cola is succeeded with their increasing sales globally, but the company has decreased in total revenue and assets since 2015. This is a problem that needs to be alleviated. The value chain of Coca-Cola is meant to meet customer demands. They always put their customers first. They always want to know what their customers' drinks are. They want to be able to be the innovators of the drinks for their customers. Next is the technology clock speed, and this focuses on sales directly to consumers. This is especially a hot topic right now with coronavirus, as people do not want to go out as much. So Coca-Cola is focusing on how they can get their drinks into the homes of people rather than in the hands of suppliers or restaurants. Coca-Cola has a competitive position through insourcing and outsourcing. They insource all of their research and development, so all of their innovation is done in-house. However, when it comes to outsourcing, they outsource all of their bottling and production needs. This allows for Coca-Cola to really just focus on their innovation and research and development. In terms of their suppliers, Coca-Cola has capable suppliers all around the world. They have a ton of restaurants and movie theaters and anywhere that wants to buy their products. They can be sold in any store. Their products are also modular, which helps them ensure that all their innovation and all their manufacturing and production is kept in-house, which meets many requirements. Coca-Cola's core competency is mainly focused on strong brand value. Coca-Cola is well known throughout the world. You really can't go into a country and not see one ad or billboard for Coca-Cola. It's almost impossible. Everybody in the world has at least heard of Coca-Cola or Sprite or Fanta or one of the drinks that Coca-Cola produces. And this is also a major player because they emphasize on consumer taste. So people taste these drinks and remember them and like them, and that's how Coca-Cola has helped build their strong brand value and their reputation. As I mentioned, they have a very focused market approach. This market approach really just emphasizes their beverages and their core competencies rather than trying to explore new market segments. And this has ultimately led to Coca-Cola having a higher market share than PepsiCo from 2008 to 2018 in the world. Coca-Cola's competitive strategy, they have a business model that really focuses on concentrate operations, which is something that no other company in the beverage industry focuses on. And this has a differentiation from competitors because they actually just sell their concentrates and syrups to bottling partners. And then the bottling partners create the finished product and sell that. So Coca-Cola is gaining profits not only from selling their concentrates, but also on the final sale of their product. So Coca-Cola is generating two revenue streams this way. When applying the Vrio framework to this business model, it's a very valuable and rare business model because, as I mentioned, nobody else uses this business model. No competitors at all. And it's very hard to imitate because in order to imitate this business model, the companies have to invest heavily into bottling partners and building bottling manufacturing partners, facilities. Coca-Cola has built ones all around the world. I'll talk about one in Kenya in a little bit. And this has led to Coca-Cola being the fifth most valuable brand in the world, which is definitely giving them a competitive advantage over PepsiCo and Dr. Pepper Snapple. Whenever it comes to growth for Coca-Cola, they are currently sustaining growth right now and attracting investments by appeasing their shareholders and stakeholders. They always focus on customers and they have no problem with customer retention. However, they must create new market space in order to attract new customers. An idea that I have is to focus more on health conscious drinks as consumer tastes are seeming to trend that way. And the internal business processes must also satisfy stakeholders. So all the decisions and investments that are made in-house must come to a good conclusion. They must come to realize more profits for the company. And Coca-Cola is always learning and growing. They ensure employee satisfaction. They have an efficient hierarchy, and organizational success is pretty on par with the company. They realize profits almost every year. Diversification for Coca-Cola has been a bit of an issue. They're not a highly diverse company. They only operate in the beverage industry, and they operate with a single business strategy to focus on one product that offers 95% of their revenues, or not one product, but one drinks. Their capabilities and resources help to maintain a competitive advantage. Their financial resources and the capabilities that they have always put them a step ahead of their competition. And in order to diversify their product portfolio, they typically just make acquisitions of popular drinks that are on the rise. However, their competition does have a step above them right now because PepsiCo offers products in the snack industry as well. This is something that Coca-Cola, I think, should look into, because if something were to happen to their beverage products or their beverage industry, Coca-Cola would really fall and PepsiCo would be able to still generate revenue and profits from the snack industry. This is something that Coca-Cola cannot say that they can do. When it comes to foreign markets, Coca-Cola is a multinational enterprise. They leverage all of their home-based core competencies and make sure that their variations of their products depend on the local consumer taste. So they have a global yet local approach to foreign markets. In Kenya, Coca-Cola really heavily invested in a few bottling manufacturing plants in order for those plants to sell their products. This was a lot of foreign direct investment that then turned into joint ventures because Coca-Cola needed to show these companies in Kenya just exactly how to make their products, sell their products, so on and so forth. Eventually, Coca-Cola started franchising some bottling plants in Kenya and exporting their products throughout Africa and parts of the Middle East through these bottling manufacturers. So their foreign market approach has been proven successful as they've established in Kenya and many other regions and countries around the world. They're in all 6 continents, excluding Antarctica. The organizational structure of Coca-Cola is hierarchical and mechanistic in their organization structure. It's necessary for such a large business. So all of their decision making is centralized at the top and the decisions trickle down. They exploit their current capabilities rather than explore new markets, and the global branches focus on the central vision, which is refresh the world and make a difference. The global brand recognition also helps Coca-Cola with their organizational structure. Ultimately, Coca-Cola has a code of conduct that is focused on being aware, protecting what is theirs, demonstrating accountability, dealing fairly with others, and caring for their communities. Coca-Cola has done a lot of things to reaffirm that they have a strict code of conduct with their partnership with Red Cross, where in contemporary society they have been donating lots of resources to hospitals around the world and to fight the current pandemic. They have also made a commitment to Black-owned businesses, which is response to the Black Lives Matter protests and movement. This commitment to the Black-owned businesses, they pledged a certain amount of money to invest into Black-owned businesses. And the final point is that Coca-Cola is one company that has joined a movement that is allowing their employees to receive a paid day off on election day. This makes voters feel at ease because there are already a lot of stressful factors going around voting right now that have to do with the coronavirus pandemic. The key leaders at Coca-Cola is one executive team, and the CEO is James Quincey. This team focuses on organizational designs that complement their capabilities, and ultimately Coca-Cola wants to be successful, fuel their own transformation, and support growth worldwide. As I mentioned before, they have a global and local business strategy where they have the head office in Atlanta and all the regional head offices report to the Atlanta head office, and all the decisions come from that head office in Atlanta. This allows for regional parts of branches of Coca-Cola to come up with their own ideas and then have them okayed by the central offices. And this proves that their power is centralized at Coca-Cola. So my final thoughts on the Coca-Cola company is that in order for them to continue to realize a sustained competitive advantage, they have to look into diversifying their product portfolio to include healthy drink alternatives. There is a huge market segment right now that is requiring consumer taste or requiring juices, waters, and Coca-Cola has made an effort to reduce sugar in their drinks, but they have not made a major effort, especially in the American market, to introduce healthy drinks such as juices. This is something that they really need to look into. And while I mentioned that Coca-Cola's focused investments is a major strength for their business, it's a potential thing that they might want to explore, that they might want to enter the snack market, just like Pepsi did. This really just allows more revenues to come into the business, and I think ultimately it's a good move. And they need to also continue to address overconsumption of water and climate change. This has become a major issue in recent years as the science has shown us that climate change is very real. And in order to address overconsumption, Coca-Cola needs to be able to figure out how to sanitize and recycle much of their water as opposed to the previous years when they have just overconsumed and left agrarian villages destitute and looking for water. Here are my references.